Is it not marvelous? We have the first snow and the nature appears in a wonderful white dress, and let's enjoy to walk a little bit, huh?
Yeah. May I ask you something?
Yes, of course, of course.
What drive you to write a books?
To write a book, well, that's a difficult question. Let's walk a little bit. I have to think. I think it's life. Or maybe for me it's a question of survival. Because in a book you answer questions which are mostly for a long time in your mind. Sometimes questions which bothers you, sometimes questions which are really interesting and for yourself. So you can say you write a book for yourself and you write it for the audience, of course. Yeah. And the questions which drives me are very essential. It's our philosophic questions like where I come from, what can I do, what can you expect from life. So these are questions which the mankind asked already 2000 years ago, 2005 years ago, the great philosophers. And they drive me and they drive us, I guess, every day, every hour, every minute. So these are kind of thematics in my books. And that's why I write books, and I hope my audience loves them.
So is your book is autographic?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And it's a very common question. I think every book has to be autobiographic. And why is it like that? Of course I can, as a German, write a book about ice bears in the Bering Sea or in Alaska, but honestly, I have not been there, and I know ice bears only from the zoo. So what I mean is, it's more difficult to write things which you don't know. Yeah, it's better to write about things which you encounter, experiences, people you met, countries you traveled, and then you see it in front of your eyes and you can explain it better. You smell, you know how to smell a German wood has to smell. You know how is the autumn in Europe when the colors are changing from brown to red and golden. So it gives you, to say it simple, more words how closer you are to the story. And that's why my book, Ein Sommer nur, is a kind of autobiographic, but of course, as an author, you always add something. It's not completely autographic. If you read my book, you will see, because the ending is dramatically, and thanks God that was not happened to me. So it's a kind of autobiographic, and the other part comes out of your mind from your fantasy. That's what. It's nice.
So are you already working for a new book?
Actually, I do. And it's also connected to your question before. It's also a little bit autobiographic. Years ago, I spent a good while in Los Angeles, and this is the location where my new book plays. It has, it's following a little bit my main thematic questions of who I am, identity, and let's walk. And
Yeah.
so this book plays in New York. It's about a journalist who is losing his career, who is losing his family, and who is losing the idea who he is. And then he spent his time in this plastic world, Los Angeles, where you see that there's no identity, that there's 1 million identities, and these identities are not matching at all to each other. So that's my second book. Give me 6 more months and then you will see it on the market.
Wow, I'm looking forward.
So let's walk.
So, my next question is, what makes you happy?
Happy. That's a great, great word. You know, happiness is not a condition. Happiness is just a moment. Sometimes you feel happy for the time of a blink of an eye, for a second only. When you see, when your loved one is opening his eye in the morning and they're looking at you full of love, or you are with your beloved wife when she bring up your first baby, or you are in the nature, you see a beautiful animal. So happiness is for the moment, but we are chasing it our whole life.